How would human culture be different if we all lived to be 500 years old? Your question lacks context to make it answerable. For instance, would 500 years be a norm since the beginning, or will it be due to technological progress happening in the next few decades? But knowing humanity's potential to exploit itself, I would say believe things would be the same. More time being young and sexy as queen. Not much different, just more drawn out. There have been sci-fi series of books that explore the concept. It'd be very crowded on this planet. I imagine it would significantly change family structures, without even touching the changes to the workforce. Parents would have time to have more kids, who could do the same in turn whilst the original matriarch and patriarch are still alive and in good health. So on and so forth. Deaths and poor health notwithstanding, of course. Life would be much slower and less hectic for one, I think. Kinda like the elves in LOTR. I don't think it would change much. Some people would still be all rush and some people would still be all chill and most would be somewhere in the middle. Strongly depends on how brain aging would work in this scenario. 100 would likely still be a minor, and when you graduate to adulthood, would people still age at the same rate? Would puberty still happen at the same age? So basically elves? Lots of options, but likely would be far more conservative due to family structure differences and the head of the household changing every 300-400 years rather than every 15-20. The largest families would hold the strongest cohesion and cooperative potentials on par with what we may have seen from an entire small city in the early Bronze Age. We could end up with clans of under 5 or so large families controlling city-states and using intermarriage or other more gruesome means to create a type of national identity based on belonging at least in part to one of the main families. So basically a lot like what we have today, except our superclass has no familial ties to the serfs at the bottom, and a lot less reasons lacking nationalistic camaraderie, for example, to care about their well-being. In other words, we'd still be controlled by powerful families, but we would also be in some way part of them. Education would last a lot longer. If you drop out of school at 30, with only one PhD, you're not going to be considered very educated for the rest of your 500 years. Elementary school would last a decade. I think we would have serious problems with people like Putin or Trump. Imagine guys like that had another 400 years to build wealth, power, and armies. And the young would be like slave labor to the older people who have been accumulating resources for centuries. We have extended our lifespan by a few decades, and this is already happening with baby boomers having a gigantic chunk of the resources. Overpopulation, here we come. I'd imagine we'd be less reactive, more calculated, less knee-jerk reactions to things, much more wise. Imagine boomers for 500 years. I would expect that whatever advances we make, capitalism would exploit and ruin it for us. My friends and I used to have this debate about what if humans didn't need to sleep, and our conclusion was that we'd probably have to spend more of our 24 hours working, so it wouldn't be worth it.